All right, let's dive into a story that asks us to look way beyond our history books and maybe out toward the stars for our real origin story. I mean, really think about it. What if this story of us didn't start in a garden or with some single cell in the primordial soup, but way out there among the stars? The text we're exploring today asks us to consider exactly that. So we're going to walk through this incredible cosmology, all from one source text. It's a story about extraterrestrial creators, a single moment that changed everything for us, and humanity's long, long journey back to what it calls the Golden Age. Our story kicks off not here on Earth, but with a massive cosmic plan that needed a new home, a new stage to play out on. Okay, first things first, let's get a key term down. The narrative calls our creators the Elohim. Now, these aren't gods in the way we usually think of them. Think more like highly advanced beings, cosmic scientists, genetic engineers, and spiritual guides from all over the galaxy. You'll want to keep them in mind because they are the central figures here. The text lays out this really clear sequence of events, almost like a blueprint for cosmic engineering. It all starts with a planet in our own solar system getting destroyed, which then leads these Elohim to show up on a totally barren Earth. From there, they get to work, terraforming the whole planet, seeding it with life, and eventually upgrading early hominids into what we know as Homo sapiens. According to the story, it was all a very deliberate act of creation. So you gotta ask, why go to all that trouble? Well, according to the text, the goal was absolutely profound. They wanted to design one single universal physical form, the human body, that could act as a host for souls coming in from all different star systems. Earth was basically designed to be a unique cosmic melting pot, you know? A kind of experimental zone for souls to come and experience physical reality. But, just like in any great story, this grand experiment, it didn't exactly go according to plan. A critical choice was made, and it sent ripples down through all of history. And here it is. This is the moment everything changes. A fundamental cosmic law, a sort of prime directive of non-interference, was broken. Some of these creator beings got, let's say, entangled with their own creations. They chose to mate with the early humans they had just engineered. This one act is described as the main catalyst for what we call the fall. And for those creator beings who broke that law, the consequences were huge. They lost their immortality. Their unified androgynous nature was literally split into male and female. They became trapped in the same cycle of life and death as their human children. It was a complete and total break from the original divine order. And the fallout from this one decision was just immense. I mean, it didn't just affect the fallen gods, it changed the entire planet. Advanced civilizations like Atlantis, which had been thriving under the guidance of the Elohim, just collapsed. A secret war began over the sacred knowledge they'd brought to Earth, which led to all these competing secret societies, and ultimately, it pushed all of humanity into a kind of galactic dark age. But here's the thing. That ancient knowledge, it wasn't completely lost. It was actually carefully and very intentionally preserved, just waiting for a time when we would finally be ready to understand it again. So this means that even during this long descent into a darker, denser consciousness, the original wisdom wasn't just wiped out. Nope, it was simply hidden away, safeguarded by those who stayed true to the original cosmic plan. So how did they preserve it? Well, the text says that survivors from the fall of Atlantis literally carried this knowledge to new centers of civilization, places like ancient Egypt, Tibet, and India. It was encoded into the cosmic mathematics and the alignment of sacred sites like the pyramids and passed down secretly through intense initiation rites within hidden brotherhoods. And that brings us to now. According to this whole narrative, after thousands of years in the shadows, humanity has finally reached a massive turning point. To really put this journey into perspective, the text talks about an ancient golden age, like in Atlantis, followed by this super long descent, a dark age where our connection to the universe, to source, got really weak. But then, the narrative points to the time right around 2012 as a huge marker, the beginning of a great reawakening, the start of the return to the light. Now, to really get what this awakening is all about, we have to look at another concept, Adam Kadmon. This is described as the original divine human template, a unified androgynous being made of light. The split into male and female into separate bodies is framed as a key part of the descent into duality. And here is a fascinating, mind-bending twist in this whole story. The fall, it wasn't a punishment, it wasn't a mistake, it was an intentional journey. The whole point was for souls to descend deep into the illusion of separation, to experience duality, light and dark, good and evil, you and me, all for the ultimate purpose of rediscovering unity, not from some teacher on high, but from deep within ourselves. So if that whole journey was intentional, what's our role now? What are we supposed to be doing in this time of reawakening? At the very heart of this reawakening is this profound, powerful shift in our own identity. And this quote from the text really captures it. It completely reframes our relationship with our creators. It reveals that we aren't just their creation, we are their continuation. That same divine spark they carried is right inside us. So this awakening is really a core shift in perception. It's about moving away from the illusion of separation, which is what creates fear and conflict, and stepping into the truth of oneness, which naturally fosters unity, love, and co-creation. It's a fundamental change in how we see and experience reality itself. And this brings us to our spiritual task, our homework, if you will. The Golden Age isn't something that's just going to be delivered to us on a silver platter. It's something we have to actively build. The work is to see things like fear and war for what they are, illusions to be dissolved, to awaken to the deep truth of our unity, and then to start consciously co-creating a new world from that foundation of love. And when you boil it all down, it really comes to this simple yet incredibly powerful message. If we are all just different expressions of the exact same unified consciousness, then any harm that's done to another person or another creature or to the planet itself is harm we are ultimately doing to ourselves. There is no separation. It's an illusion. And that is the final question this whole story leaves us with. It takes this giant cosmic drama about gods and aliens and brings it right back to you and me, right here, right now. If this new world, this golden age, is actually built from our own consciousness, from our choices and our actions, then the power to create it rests with us. So, what will you choose to create today?